the birds are chirping and the flowers are blooming, and Steam, most importantly, is having its spring sale. And so we're going to go through and find a bunch of good deals that are going on right now this week. And took a little extra digging because a lot of the things on the front page aren't really the best deals, but I have found over 30, actually, games that are on some really good deals. And we will begin with the big names. That is Farthest Frontier, big name number one in this city-building, untamed, frontier settlement town builder. Made by Crate Entertainment, came out last year, and it is at an interesting discount, actually, at the moment. It is 45% off right now. If you buy it by itself, puts it at $19.24. But if you buy it with Grim Dawn in the bundle deal, it's actually cheaper. So you can get it for $18.47 along with Grim Dawn right now on this spring Steam sale. I'm gonna move kind of quick because as I mentioned, I got a lot of these, so we'll kind of push through here. Stardew Valley is up next. Grandpa gave you a farm. Go out, craft, farm, meet the neighbors, build up the town. We know what Stardew Valley is. It came out in 2016 by Concerned Ape, and it is at 50% off at $7.49. All of these are on the lowest prices they've ever been, of course, as usual. And we'll go through and find the real good deals. Also, by the way, the Stardew Valley soundtrack, which is real good, $2.50. This is what I usually look for on the Steam sales. Next big name is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord by Tailworlds. Came out in 2022. Build yourself a medieval kingdom, lead a medieval kingdom, complete with the running around the map with your tiny little group, building up your town, claiming territories and cities, and becoming like a proper army. Came out again in 2022, and it is at 50% off right now. Puts it at $24.99. Going Medieval is up next, which just came out 1.0, just hit here on March 17th by Foxy Voxel. This is, if you want to think of it as like a Rim World, but medieval style. You'll build yourself a castle or town, colony sim, and try to survive in the world with bandits out there coming to knock you down. Maybe they'll bring a trebuchet, or you can build your own trebuchet. Proper medieval settlement builder that just came out. It's been in early access for a long time, but 1.0 just hit, so I got to mention this one. At 20% off, $23.99 right now. And speaking of games that just came out, Timberborn is the other one that has been in early access for a long time, and it's now at 1.0 by Mechanistry. And look at this, 95% of the 21,000 reviews. People like this game. It's a pretty good one. It's right now on sale as well for the Steam sale. 20% off, puts it at $27.99 right now. What is the game? You're a bunch of beavers, and you're building yourself a town in this colony sim style of thing. And with beavers, there's a lot of terraforming going on. You can redirect rivers. You got water mills. Eventually, you start building beaver robots. There's a lot of beaver themed. Well, there you go, beaver city building right there. Anyway, there is Timberborn. Let's get moving. Next one. Citedelum is a city builder set in ancient Rome. This is, think of something like Pharoah. Those kind of the old timey colony sims from back in the 90s by Abalite, and it came out here in 2024 in October, and it is sitting now at 50% off, puts it at $12.49 at the moment. Menace also just came out this year, back in February, by Overhype and Hooded Horse. This is a turn-based tactical game where you've got a base, a spaceship, and in that spaceship you recruit mercenaries, and those mercenaries will eventually go from planet to planet, doing a bunch of turn-based tactical style missions. Think of it as kind of like a bit XCOM, but mercenary style. And it is recently out, but it is right now 25% off, $30 for this one. So my extension broke this time, and I got me thinking maybe I should kind of explain, for those that aren't aware of the site, is there any deal? And so if you're curious about, I'm looking for a game, I want to make sure it's on sale. IsThereAnyDeal.com, not a sponsor, but I want to make sure and point it out. So here's Kenshi, for instance. Kenshi right now is on sale. $11.99 is what the sale is going on right now. However, if I look at Is There Any Deal, it's been cheaper. Back in May of last year, it was only $9. It's been in 2021, back on Fanatical, it was down to $4. And so it's a good idea. You can keep this thing. You can have notifications come through with this. There's all kinds of stats and things you can look through. But for those that aren't familiar with this, I appreciate you watching these videos. But if you want to go find some deals, if you're looking for a game, Is There Any Deal is a really good site to do that, which I had to use today because my extension broke. Astroneer is up next. Came out in 2016 by System Era Softworks. You're a crash-landed spaceman, and it's your job to mold and terraform and base build and automate the production lines of an alien planet. This one is at 75% off right now at $7.49. The Last Spell came out back in 2023 by Ishtar Games, where this is sort of this turn-based settlement builder, tower defense, a little bit of a combination of a few things, where the turn-based strategy is you recruiting these heroes, and you can level these guys up, but each night the waves of things come in turn-based style, turn-based tactic style, and you got to fight them off and protect your base, and then build your base up, and then it all happens over and over again. But it is at 90% off right now, $2.49 for this one, dirt cheap. We got Civilization 5. So Civilization, a bunch of them are on sale. I picked Civilization 5 out because I really liked Civilization 5. And it is super cheap. They're all on sale. I think all the Civs that are here on Steam right now are on sale. But pick your favorites. Mine's Civ 2. Civ 4 is great also. Civ 5 is a pretty good one. They're all great. But it's only $3 right now. 90% off. And, of course, you got all the extra DLC that go along with it that you can pick up as part of the bundle. Songs of Six is by Gamatron, and it is one of the most complex games maybe that's out there. It is a fantasy city builder. Starts out pretty small. You got a few folks. Go out, build yourself a town in this RimWorld or Dwarf Fortress style, but slowly, the game grows, and you end up like building like a proper multi-thousand settlement size, and then you go out into the world. You start conquering regions in the world and trade and war and all that good stuff. This is right now 25% off, puts it at $18.74. If you play the demo is just I think one of the previous updates of the games. It's a full game, just it's back a couple versions. I want to make sure and emphasize this one because the price is going up because it's going to be at 1.0 here supposedly this year, and so it might be a good time to pick it up to save a few bucks because I think it's supposed to go to $30 full price later this year. Next up, we got Tropico 6. We're still with big names. This is by Limbic Entertainment, and Calypso is publishing this one. Tropico 6 is a Banana Republic style of settlement builder. You're out in the Caribbean or wherever, and you're building yourself a town. And this one came out back in 2019, but it is super cheap right now. 70% off, puts it at $11.99. A lot of settlement builders in this one, isn't there? I want to mention a few games here from Illwinter Game Design. Conquest of Elysium 5 and Dominions 6 are both on sale. Dominions is sitting at $29.24, 35% off. This is the sort of more grander scale, more complex version of a fantasy civilization like army builder war game. And then Conquest of Elysium is a little more zoomed down, think Master of Magic style fantasy armies civilization builder. And it's sitting down at 50% off at $14.99. But I also want to mention all the Illwinter games. So if you say maybe you want to try Dominions, but you want to pay $30, Dominions 5, which is still a very similar game, is sitting at 75% off right now at $10. Or you can get Conquest of Elysium 4 down at $5 right now. And the same basic game. Of course, they've built on to them with the newer versions, but if you just want a cheaper version, then you certainly can do that with the rest of these on sale. I always want to mention with these Steam sales, it's always a good time to pick up games like the old XCOM. If you want to play Open XCOM, because you have to have the original game. There's a few of those like that, Roller Coaster Tycoon, for instance. And this is a good time to pick these up, because XCOM UFO Defense is right now at $1.24, and Terror from the Deep is sitting at $1.24 as well. So you get both of them for a couple bucks. And then you can play Open XCOM, which is one of the greatest mods, open source things ever. Heroes Hour is up next. This is speaking of old games, Heroes Might and Magic, heavily inspired by that. We're just with Auto Battler instead of turn-based tactical. And it came back in 2022. And Heroes Hour 2 is coming out supposedly this year, but this might be a good time to pick up this one because it is at 60% off right now. Put it down to $7. Next up, we got FTL, which is the music you may be hearing here. If you're it's kind of quiet right now, but it's playing in the background. This is the spaceship simulation roguelike, they call it, by Subset Games. Way back in 2012. Build yourself a ship, equip your ship, outfit your ship with crew, and fly from point to point. One of the originators of that roguelite style game that we see so much of right now. But you build a spaceship, hire crew, move around point to point, and try to survive. It's 75% off right now, $2.49 for FTL. Good deal. Necesse hit 1.0 back in 2025 by Fair Games. This is one of those open world survival craft. Build your settlement, build your base, go out and explore different biomes. Of course, there is multiplayer in there as well, and you can spend hours and hours and hours on this game. But it is sitting now at the best deal it's ever been, 35% off at $9.74. Pharoah, A New Era, is the remake of the original Pharoah, the HD remake of this thing by Triskel Interactive and Dodamu. It's a city builder set in Egypt, and you are building an Egyptian city. This one came out, like in 1996 or something, but it's the HD remake came out in 2023, and it is a 57% off, put it at $10. Paraspera is the Martian terraforming game. You land on Mars, it's all red, it's dead. Your job is to go out and create, using a bunch of automation and mining and building up the planet. And slowly, the best part of this game is just sort of watching the planet slowly transform from red to green, and oceans forming and forests forming. It's very cool. It came out way back in 2020, and it is sitting at 75% off at $7.49. I put a lot of city builders in here, didn't I? Regions of Ruin is up next. The 2D pixel side-scrolling RPG. You're a dwarf, and your home is gone, and your job is to go out hacking and slashing, collecting supplies, going back to your base, build your base up, and then set back out into the world. You will eventually going out, finding new dwarves that are out there, going to different settlements like forests and ruins, and trying to collect resources in order to build your town up and claim your dwarven home, I suppose. By then, Regions of Ruin 2 is coming out. I think it's supposed to be coming out this year, but if you want the original, it is 80% off right now at $2. Rebel Inc Escalation is the next one on the list by Endemic Creations and Hooded Horse. So this is set in that same Plague Inc universe, where you're basically dealing with kind of this grand strategy style. You're dealing with your country, and you're slowly grabbing places, territories on the map, trying to deal with terrorists and all the things that go along with a country that's sort of in terrible shape. But it is at 70% off right now, $4.49. Ants are next. Empires of the Undergrowth by Slug Disco came out here in 2024. Big ant colony. Think Sim Ant, but just a lot bigger, where you deal with your underground base building style, and then you go out in the overworld, send your ants out to collect resources and fight against the other ant colonies that are out there in the world in this RTS base building thing. It is at 70% off right now. Put it at $9 for this one. I mentioned Stardew Valley earlier. We got Graveyard Keeper, which is the medieval version of Stardew Valley. However, that was he's throwing bodies into the world. Yeah, that's going to be happening here. It's a little more dark version of Stardew Valley, where you are a graveyard keeper, and you got to build your graveyard up. You can do the crafting, the survival, all that good stuff, the management stuff, and building in your town. This one is by Lazy Bear Games, came out in 2018, and it is $4 right now, 80% off. Chained Echoes is this Super Nintendo style of RPG. Build yourself a party set in this world with dragons, and you have your own mechs and things. And it kind of goes overboard, but that's kind of what they're going for here. It is by Umami Tiger, and it came out in 2022. If you're into these sort of JRPG, Westernish JRPG style of things, it is 60% off right now at $10. Again, I've got links for all these things in the description. I'll have links in the chat, in the comments, and I'll have links to my my videos that I have on these, because I got videos on all these. Children of Morta is up next. Think of this as Diablo-esque. You run around hacking, slashing, action RPG style by Dead Mage, and published by 11-bit, but super cheap. It is 85% off right now, $3.29. We got Yes, Your Grace. You are the king of a kingdom in a really bad shape. And your job is, as people come in, ask questions, and they beg for things, your job is to say yes or no, or whatever, and try to lead the kingdom. Also while dealing with your wife and your daughter and the lands of the kingdom and rebels out there. By Brave at Night, No More Robots is publishing it. It came out 2020. It is at $3 right now, 85% off. Lots of really cheap things here. Again, the ones that were Steam kept showing me these ones that were on sale, but they weren't really on sale. They weren't that great of a deal. But if you dig down, there's some good stuff in here, like Roadwarden, an illustrated text-based RPG. This is very much a story-driven thing, a read, a choose-your-own-adventure game. You go from point to point and select what you want to do and try to traverse your way through the story as a Roadwarden. Came out in 2022 and it is 75% off right now, $2.74 for this one. Gladiator Guild Manager. I always try to think of, like, what am I going to say to explain these games in my little 20-second blurb. This is called Gladiator Guild Manager. You know what it is. It says it right there. It's an auto battler. Build yourselves a gladiator guild, and you manage it. By Entertainment Forge came out in 2024, and it is sitting at $5 right now at 67% off. I think, you know what? I'm in there. I got a character named after me in this game. Thanks, Entertainment Forge. Despots Game, another auto battler, similar to Gladiator Guild Manager, but you are sort of tormenting these little despots, or I guess these little humans, you are the despots, and you send them through this arena of auto battler challenges, equipping them up, leveling them up, and trying to make it through the maze that I guess you were giving them, or someone's giving them. By Confa Games, came out in 2022, and it is $5 right now, 75% off. Only a few left. We got Dungeonmans. If you're into games like Tales of Maj'Al, the sort of the traditional roguelike style of things, then Dungeonmans will be for you. Adventure Pro Games is making this one, or made this one back in 2014. And if this turn-based tactical RPG style, build up your hero, head off into dungeons and out into this big overworld with, it doesn't take itself too seriously. We'll put it that way. But it is down at 67% off. $5 for this one. This is one of my favorites. I like this one a lot. I need to play it again. Legends of Keepers, you are you got yourself a dungeon, and you're just living your life, having a good old time, but dang adventurers, those paladins, those clerics, those fighters, they're storming into your base, and it is your job to fight, to keep them away from your base. So from room to room, you gotta set up your traps, set up your heroes, or not your heroes, your monsters, to try to fight them off so they don't come and kill you. It's by Goblin Studio, and it is 80% off, $4 for Legends of Keepers. Okay, almost the last one on the list. We got Sid Meier's Pirates. I gotta mention it. I mean, it's $2.50. It probably could have gone in there with XCOM stuff, but it's Sid Meier's Pirates. Will there ever be a pirate game as good as Sid Meier's Pirates? No, there won't. I've given up looking for one. Anyway. To Fanatical. Fanatical has some good deals. Both Fanatical, GOG, all the stores are having their Steam sales, you know. And Fanatical has one as well. One of the bundles they've got going on right now is the Build Your Own RPG and Strategy Bundle. So games like Symphony of War, you pick 3 of them for $5. That's crazy cheap. Symphony of War, Subterrane, and, I don't know, Talisman. It's normally $30. You get all 3 of those for $5. Crazy deal. Or you can do even more than that. So, really good deal over on Fanatical. But anyway, there is the deal, the sales, the Steam spring sale going on right now. Lots of good stuff. And thank you for watching, and have a good one.